Is the U.S. preparing for a possible space war? In recent years, rumors of an impending all-out war on Earth have been swirling around the world, but the U.S. has been making plans from space for a long time, especially in the recent past since 2017. Will they target Earth or beyond? The United States Air Force is undergoing several reforms, including the creation of a new command and control post. The purpose is to adequately prepare for eventual space conflict. The various changes include the restructuring and formation of the Space Warfare Command Center. In other words, are they reorganizing for an orbital war, a war with orbit around the Earth, in an orbit around the Earth? The move follows criticisms from lawmakers, as we read on Space News, that the Air Force is not adequately prepared to fight in space. An area increasingly militarized by the US, Russia, and China. As it appears, the latter are trying to challenge American supremacy in space with ambitious military space programs, so the power race in the region seems to threaten to unleash a conflict that could paralyze the planet's space-based infrastructure. And although it might start in space, such a conflict could easily cause a full-scale conflict on Earth. This new measure comes amid criticism from many lawmakers who claim that the existing military branch is not adequately prepared to fight in space. Interestingly, in 2007, China tested a satellite missile and managed to successfully destroy one of its satellites. It was a signal to the world about its new capabilities and a serious concern for the US military. Now let's meet the National Space Defense Center, the new name for the Pentagon's Warfare Command Center in 2017. According to General J. Raymond, head of the Air Force Space Command, the new position will be organizational, training, and equipment capabilities to face the challenges that may develop in space. The Air Force is working with the National Reconnaissance Office to create a common space project known as the War Domain. According to Defense One, which is part of the government executive, the new general will come to work every day focused on ensuring that we can organize, train, and equip our forces to meet the challenges in the field, said General J. Raymond, head of Air Force Space Command. The idea of a war in space is not new, as many may recall, since as early as the 1950s, the Soviets and the US were considering placing and testing nuclear weapons in orbit, while in the 1980s, the militarization of space culminated in the Strategic Defense Initiative of the Reagan administration known as Star Wars. Are they preparing for a possible generalized war, the so-called Third World War, which will be framed by targets from and to space? Or is this all a cover to form a defense against spacecraft from other planets that are said to be approaching Earth? Anyway, nothing sounds nice. How much more if we can take into account the international space law, that one of the basic principles of the treaty overseen by the United Nations Committee on the Peaceful Uses of Outer Space, UNCOPUS, is weapons of mass destruction are prohibited in orbit and beyond it, and the moon and the planets and other heavenly bodies may be used only for peaceful purposes. All this may be happening, but who can assure and guarantee that SpaceX's non-mass destruction weapons or other orbital military defense systems of State X will not mark any state that X deems necessary to intervene to prevent the worst and at the same time impose itself globally or cause a generalized war, is the question. I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Kindly support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.